challenges. So first up, we have this No level 7 deck. And I still have the dual room up from last time. Let me go ahead and close that. But basically, we are running level 6 and lower monsters only. So I figure my best way to win a game like this is to use Dragonic Pressure to make big pushes. So I'm running a Curse of the Dark deck, and we're going to see if we can get that to work. Let's go ahead and queue up, and I'm going to go ahead and send out a quick ping in the Discord server so everyone will know I am live. Ba-ba-da-bum. Ba-ba-da-bum. Alright, so I am up against Reborn again, and we actually just recently played against them in a normal match, and we are up first. So I know they are on a Cure Master Dion Keto deck, and we are just going to go ahead and wall up for turn number 1. And then let me go ahead and get some music playing as well. And now we can finally see what they are up to. Oh. Alright, so we draw for turn. We could Dragonic Pressure them and then swing in for 2k, but if they only have 2 monsters set, I don't think we need to. Let's go ahead and pop a Twin Edge Dragon and then tribute out a couple of bigger monsters. We have multiple Curse of Dragon, but Dragonite of Darkness is also pretty good here. We want to activate the skill, absolutely, for sure. Oh, thank you for following, Grand Harrier. I've definitely recognized your name from the various servers. So we're gonna boost Dragonite of Darkness and then return a card to the deck. I don't think we need the Dragorite right now. So then we set another card, and we could use the Curse of Dragon here, or we could swing twice with Twin Edge Dragon. I think I'm just gonna play it aggressively here and summon out the Curse of Dragon. Head into the battle phase, and I know I recognize there is chat going on, but I don't have the dock open right now, so I'm having a hard time seeing it. Let me pull it open after this turn. I didn't realize it wasn't turned on until after I started the stream, and we have just started. So, swung in for 2,800, and they are looking pretty weak. Docks and chat should be popping up on my screen now. And welcome, Rafflesia, as well. Hope you are doing alright today. But if you need to be asleep, obviously get some sleep. I don't want to be keeping you up too long either. So I hope everyone is doing well. So we see Seven Sword Magician, but that is only able to beat one of our 3 powerful tribute monsters. Cure Master Dion Keto is going to bring them back up to 4,200. Let's see how they do it. We do have 2 Dragonic Pressure, so the odds that we are able to push in for some decent damage is definitely there. Prima Katarna means they aren't actually able to clear my entire board. Even though it is a ton of damage, they are only able to take out 2 monsters. so I may not even need to use the Dragonic Pressure. But on the other hand, the Curse of Dragon isn't able to beat either Prima Gotarna or Seven Sword Magician. So, looking at it, I think we probably do need to Dragonic Pressure anyway. However, this should be solid damage. We discard 1, 2, and 3. Summon out a monster. And then I missed lethal. I miscalculated and thought we had another card in our hand here. And this is only 3,100. So they are going to survive with a 100. Where we had a lesser dragon, we could have dealt 33. They have a Phantom Bind, so it ultimately doesn't make too much of a difference. As long as we manage to survive for one more turn, our next Dragonic Pressure will seal the deal, and we might actually finish the challenge on our very first game, which is kind of crazy. As long as they don't get any big Dragius pushes this turn, we should be able to close out the no level 7 challenge on our very first game. We do see a Dragius, so that's 1,500 plus 4, so that's 1,900. Oh, but they don't have any other monsters. So, in the end, I think we are actually going to be able to get there. As long as we draw enough monsters. But they also have another Phantom Bind, which is a bit of a problem. Let's go ahead, Dragonic Pressure. 1, 2, 3. Special summon a monster for sure. Bring out the Phoenix Dragon, and now even if they have a Phantom Bind, it is not enough, as we have 2 monsters we are able to attack with. And challenge number 1 complete on the very first game. Phantom Bind stops 1 attack, but they can't stop both. So next up, we are going to move from no level 7 monsters to a only normal and rare challenge. So this is going to be a beetle deck, but without all of the good boss monsters that you would normally be running. Luckily, there is at least one. The Samegalon is a level 7 we will be able to bring out. And we are running out of replay space, so I am just going to toss one of those real quick. So the next deck I have prepared is Yuga, and let me showcase the deck real quick before we queue in. Head back into the PvP arena, and it should pop up over on the sideboard. So we are running 3 Beetle, and then the rest of our high-level monsters are dedicated to being able to force damage through the opponent setting 3 monsters. So we have Innocent Lancer and Samegalon. Unfortunately, the only level 1 monster is the Ancient Turtle Protector. So the odds of actually being able to use Samegalon are kind of low, but I think we are going to be able to get there eventually. The queues do take a little bit. We are about a week into the season, but Rush Duels, unfortunately, not quite as popular as the Speed Duels here. So, being at King of Games, it can take anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds to find a match sometimes. I know I've had people before able to stream snipe me just by being like, all right, time to press the button, and since it takes so long, they'll be the only other one in the queue. This deck, we can't quite rely on any big pushes from stuff like Dragonic Resonance, or sorry, the Dragonic Pressure. So we're going to have a much harder time actually outing level 7 monsters. I'm not sure if we have a win condition that isn't the opponent bricking, but we are going to do our best. This one is going to be much more of a pain than the first one. So we start with what looks like a pretty solid hand, if you ask me. Just plenty of level 1 monsters to go ahead and tribute out. And the one we are keeping in hand is Ancient Turtle Protector, for the reason that it works with Samegalon. It is by far the most important level 1 in the deck, as it's the only water. And even though the point of normal rare challenges are usually to be more budget, we aren't using cards that are otherwise free to play. For example, Romanpic is a level up reward, so it is a 0 gem card. But since it is classified as a UR, we aren't able to use it. Having access to stuff like even just Tengu maybe for another Samegalon target would otherwise be nice. We see a Dragius here, but we are only going to be able to get 4 monsters in the discard pile. So, not much we can do about it. I think we just have to pass again and wait until we get enough level 1s in the graveyard that our Beetle is able to beat over it. Unfortunately, this means they are getting plenty of time to find additional high-level monsters. Maybe a deck like this needs Phantom Bind to try cheesing out wins. I'm going to go ahead and add it into the deck after this round. The thought process here is that Phantom Bind usually isn't good, but in order to win, we need to high roll anyway, and that gives us one way to do so. So here we have the Ancient Turtle Protector. But Samegalon is worse than Torna in every way. Samegalon can only change monsters to attack position. So even though we have the combo, we basically just need to bring out the Beetle and take out the Dragius anyway. So we go here, and then next up is Diabolic King Beetle. Samegalon gets boosted up, and we head into the battle phase. And we see we milled the second Beetle. This makes it really difficult for us to find anything going into the future. But here is another way, like if they don't bring out a Dragonic Slayer, it's just a really good example of why Phantom Bind would be so powerful. As they will have plenty of dragons in the graveyard that even a 2800 boosted by the Dragonic Resonance would not be able to beat the Samegalon if I had the trap. Interestingly, they play down a Triad Drago. That does leave them a little bit vulnerable, but I don't think it is going to make much of a difference here. And we do not find much of anything. I think I need to get in for any amount of damage that I can. So we're playing down the Lancer. And then we are just going to swing in. And there is a slight chance they have no high-level monsters. But But even if that is the case, the face down Dragonic Pressure is enough for them to end the game. So we are probably going to be going into a game number 2. But we will have the trap card to potentially protect us from danger. $1,500 plus $1,400, that's $29. And they actually did misplay. Even though it's lethal, they could have gotten even more if they resurrected a Triad Drago. I appreciate them not wasting extra time though. So let's hop over into the deck editor, and we are going to add Phantom Binds. Not entirely sure what to take out here. Probably just one Lancer and one of the weaker monsters like Petite Moth or Skull Servant. And I think it has to be the Moth because it's an insect, which means our own beetles can get Phantom Bind. So we add in the trap, and we will go in again. Oh wait, Phantom Bind is an SR. I completely forgot. So that's why we aren't running it. That is my bad. In terms of trap cards, the only ones we have are Triple Trio. But level 3 monsters aren't going to boost high enough with it. So I guess that means we are just going to be going in for another round with the deck as it was last time. I'm trying my best to think if there are any other cards or strategies we can use with just the normals and rares. If I go to Duel Links meta, let me see if I can find anything that stands out. Obviously, there are the 1,500 vanilla monsters if we don't want to use the beetle. But then, I don't know how we would ever get over opposing 2,500 monsters. Alright, so we are up first again. And perfect, we get plenty of monsters to go ahead and set down. Basically going to just filter our hand, though I do wonder if going second might be better because we have cards like some Megalon and the Innocent Lancer to punish defense mode monsters. Currently though, it looks like they don't have any ways to clear our board. Luckily I did set the grass here because I want to have space to set more cards down. That's why I didn't go for the triple 1400s. And now we do actually get into some decent draws. We have the Beetle and the Lancer. We are going to use the effect of our Lancer, even though we aren't attacking defense position monsters, because it puts another level 1 in the graveyard for Diabolic King Beetle to boost just that little bit further. So we take out Mystic Dealer and Thunder the Thunder. And we actually are in a slight lead. We've dealt 1,700. Though it definitely helped that our opponent, I wanted to say that their name is Requiem, but it looks like Roquiem. So maybe I am just misreading it. Alright, but they have a Dragius ready to absolutely devastate my board state. If I remember correctly, the Beetle was only at 2,200, so we still have some work to go if we want to be outing the opposing Dragius here. We do draw another Beetle plus Lancer. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 monsters. But we are vulnerable to a Phantom Bind. Maybe. Oh, but maybe not if we use the Innocent Lancer. Okay, so Petite Moth, Tribute, Grass, and then Tribute again. Activate the effect of the Innocent Lancer so we can buff even more. Diabolic King Beetle into the graveyard. Boost Lancer up 27. That is just enough. Even if they have a Phantom Bind, we are safe as there should only be one Pyro in that discard pile. Then we take this one out as well. Oh, but they actually don't use the Phantom Bind. They have another one, but we actually did have multiple insects that they could have caused us to lose. They simply did not count. We see them ditching a 7-toed Magician, which is incredibly scary. That means they definitely have plenty of high-level monsters and are going to completely destroy our field. We already see 3 low-level monsters and a Dragius. This game is almost certainly over. We did put up a pretty good fight, though. Even though we are surviving for now, I'm not really seeing the winning strategy here. We bring out the Semegalon for sure. And then the Beetle. We go ahead and activate the Beetle's effect. We boost. You know, I was going to boost the Semegalon, but maybe that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1100. I think if we boost the Beetle, this is actually better. Because now we clean both without fear of any Phantom Binds. So we somehow, once again, managed to clear the board. However, this is our final Beetle. We've landed the Beetle on 3 consecutive turns, which is insanely lucky. They've used 2 Dragius, 1 Seven's Road. They probably have a ton of high-level monsters still in reserve. They are setting some cards, but until I see the end phase, I'm not convinced. Definitely a big tribute summon coming on out. 3600 is not quite enough. Wait, no, that is game. Unfortunately. I'll send them over the nice, and we'll try again. Even though we didn't win, we dealt over half of their total life points, so I don't mind it all too much. We made some progress compared to game number 1, where we did absolutely nothing. Oh, and now we are up against Tomato. I'm pretty sure Tomato is also streaming right now. So hope you're doing well, Tomato. You are probably going to beat me into the dirt, but we'll see how it goes. Good luck and have fun. I see you are on Yuga, So presumably the Road Magic deck, unless you've changed over to an actual deck, but even the Road Magic, I think I'm going to have quite some trouble beating. Though I was surprised to find you in the chat. Did your stream finish up already? Or are you still going? Alright, so we see the Torna discard, which is actually pretty crazy. I have a field of set 3, which means they probably have another Torna. And that is a little bit rough. 1700 boosted by Explosion Drive. Hopefully we find something next turn. Let's see. What kind of boards can we, or what can we draw to out this? This is some amount of progress, so we will go for it. Set our 3 monsters, and then just do some quick tribute summons. Innocent Lancer and Battle Shark's Megalon coming on out. Enter the battle phase. Oh, we absolutely need to destroy the Torna. And then how does Explosion Drive work? It does boost the Fire Golem, even if it wasn't summoned that turn, so we have to attack it, since it is even stronger than Dark Sorcerer. And here comes Full Meter Impact with 2500 attack. Going to be pretty difficult to deal with. Full Meter Impact at 3k. So both of my bosses go down here. And the Dark Sorcerer definitely getting in for a huge amount. We don't find anything in particular, so now we just need to set 3 and pass. Tomato is down 2 copies of Torna, so one possible win condition. Oh, but we're gonna die to the Road Magic explosions if we don't get proactive. I was thinking maybe we can just wait until we draw all of our beetles and go for like some kind of crazy boost. But I don't think that works. Still, we don't have much in the way of other options, so set 3 and pass. So how many level 1s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that is currently a 2400 boost. If we have 2 of them, which we definitely do not. Yeah, so the idea is if we somehow keep it going until we get all 3 beetles, we can boost it by maybe the amount we need to win. Like I said, it seems very unlikely. Especially since so many of our remaining cards in deck are high-level monsters. Oh, another Ansler. Providing that extra insurance for their life points. And as expected, we eventually just we just run out of monsters, and that's game. We swing in, but it is definitely not enough. Even if we had 2 more beetles for an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Actually, maybe if we drew all 3 beetles, we could have won. I see Tomato is making plays. I don't think they are necessary, but we'll see what they bring out. Seven Zota Magician. Oh, and maybe they are going for the Explosion Lethal. Wait, no, that's only 800. So unless they have all 3. How's it going, Sarah? Welcome back. I'll send Tomato the nice. Yeah, Tomato, I'm currently trying to get 1 win with normals and rares only. It is definitely not an easy task. But I think eventually my opponent will just brick hard enough that I will cheese my way into a win, or maybe I'll fight against a Beetle mirror match, or a deck like Psychic that just doesn't draw into anything. So we are up first, and this hand is not looking great. I'm going to set a couple of monsters, and then do I some Megalon here? Because I need the Beetle for sure. So this feels really bad, but we are gonna go for it. And we basically just hope they drew no high levels, because if that is the case, it'll happen every now and then we could get a big turnaround. Unfortunately, they are summoning 3 attack position monsters, so they probably found whatever it is they were looking for. I see the music has stopped, so I am going to try to fix that. Summon Skull, Gravity Press, and Thunder the Thunder. This is quite the interesting board. Two Beetles. So that's 4 800. I think that's just barely enough to get over the Summon Skull, if I milk well. So no reason not to go for it because we are always just gonna mill exactly what we need. Alright, show me a level 1. 2600. Beat the Summon Skull, beat the Gravity Press, and pass turn. Unfortunately, we milled the final copy of Beetle. So, it definitely becomes a lot harder now. Alright, we see the opposing player brings out a Torna. They could use Torna to beat over a Beetle, but they can also use Thunder the Thunder to accomplish the same thing. Though, maybe they'll even use both effects. They are thinking about something. I'm not really sure what it is that they are going for, but they are going to eventually use Torna. Looks like they were considering just bringing out the Seven Sword Magician instead. But Gazelle is huge. And they definitely made the right play. They took their time and they were able to figure it out. $1,500 brings us down to just 1,300 life points remaining, and we have no beetles, so we cannot boost. Our wing condition revolves solely around the opponent not finding any more high-level monsters for many, many turns. Alright, so they bring out Ayla Moon, the party princess, and since it is in attack mode, it's not unreasonable to assume they have an out. Dragius coming down, though I think they probably could have afforded to use Thunder the Thunder's effect beforehand. It doesn't matter all too much. Oh, but if they are going to use Gravity Press Dragon, that is even more. So they played it right. And now Dragius does have a lethal, just swinging into Innocent Lancer. But we will not give up heart. And we will try again. And it looks like we have a disconnect. Let's see. I'm trying to think what decks we have the best chance of beating. Obviously, a Beetle mirror match would be our best matchup. But I don't think I have seen a Beetle player in the past few weeks. Especially relatively early into the season, a lot of players in King of Games are still running whatever deck they got there with. Stuff like aggro, Aqua Dex, Dragonic Resonance is definitely a big one. I actually haven't seen very many Sevens XL Road players either, which I think is interesting. It was super popular about a week into things. But I think people have settled on the dragons. So we're going to go ahead and set a couple of monsters before passing turn. I feel like we have gone first basically every single game, which feels like a good thing because it lets us get more level 1s in the graveyard, but it also means there are no defense position monsters for my Innocent Lancers to prey on. I say that, and here we go. They open just one attack position monster, but we still have no punish for it. I'll do my Tribute Summon, activate Innocent Lancer to discard a card, and swing in for my 300. I'm not actually even taking advantage of this piercing effect. If the other two are in defense mode, they presumably have decent defenses and low attack stats. Otherwise, they would have played them in attack mode like the Kana, the Sword Diva. Let's see what Momohiki has in store for us. I do wonder if I could have pushed for more damage swinging into one of those monsters, but I have to assume they are cards like Grace Princess Kana. Otherwise, the play just doesn't make any sense. Oh, but one was a Seahorse Carrier, so it would have been a 50-50 shot. Prima Gatarna going huge here. Quite painful for our lifespan. You know, I do wonder if Darkness Approaches might actually be a card worth running. It does provide us a way to turn monsters like Gatarna into defense position. Oh, Tracheus comes out, and that is going to be game, unfortunately. So you can see they are running a Spice the Elite Noodle Ninja. So their deck is pretty interesting. Definitely not something we can compete with, but there's always the next round. And by the way, if anyone has any deck challenge suggestions that they want to go ahead and leave me, feel free to drop a comment. And if we manage to win this one, or whenever we do, if we have some time, we are going to go ahead and try out some more challenges as well. Alright, this is a player I haven't actually seen before. So I have no idea what Laura... wait, no. Their name is Lossy Mats. I was definitely reading it as Laura Mats. So we are up second. And that means Innocent Lancer might have its time to shine. But the question is, what monster do I attack? Oh, a tribute set. That is interesting. The issue is that it could be a 1700 defense Axel Wonder Splat. So I think I need to attack the other one. Unfortunately, we barely deal any damage as it was a Doriado. And this is the 7's Axel Road player we were just thinking about. Here comes a Thunder the Thunder, capable of weakening my Innocent Lancer. Torn of the Windweaver coming out for that free huge damage against my 0 attack monsters. 7-Sword Magician getting discarded as they definitely do not need it in a deck like this. Or, sorry, in a matchup like this. We see Torn of the Windweaver get boosted to 2600, and that is more than enough to deal with Innocent Lancer. Axel Wonderspat also getting in for the full 1600 as Drake of the Tiny has 0 attack. We draw for turn, and this is actually good enough to out the board we are fighting against. That said, I don't think it is good enough to survive on the turn afterwards. Semegalon coming down, and so is a Beetle. Beetle can go ahead and boost up my monster. And then we head into the battle phase, and we have to take out both high-level monsters. Win a duel without any lights or darks. Okay, let's see. I probably could do that with another dragon deck variant because they have a lot of earth monsters. I wonder what else could work. So psychics, those are all light and dark. Spellcasters, also big on dark. Dragius is light. Hayami Ruler is dark. That actually sounds like a pretty fun one. I wonder what it is with Konami and their favoritism for light and dark monsters. Even if it is all about things like dragons and magicians, it's pretty easy to make, like, if 7-Sword Magician was fire attribute, nobody would be like, oh, that's weird. He has a giant flaming head. So, I wonder why dark and light gets so much more representation. We'll probably give this current deck a couple of more shots. But if we don't get there, then we will probably go ahead and settle for swapping the challenge. Let's see who we managed to run into next. It is taking a moment. And I wonder what Tomato was up to. Oh, it's an advertisement. It would be funny if I managed to run into him a second time. Oh, yeah. Oh, and we are queued. Let's see who we are up against next. Proud Yemeni. A Mimi player could be on one of several different skills. Looks like I am up first once again. So let's go ahead and put the Skull Servant down. 1400 where they're most likely to have weaker monsters. And pass. we have the Innocent Lancer to help us clear our hand next turn if needed. They set a monster, but some people do like to just set monsters before going for tribute summons, so we don't know anything for sure yet. They do pass, and we managed to find another tribute monster. So let's go ahead and bring out Innocent Lancer. Innocent Lancer activates the effect, Skull Servant to the discard pile, and then Diabolic King Beetle tributed off and boosting the Lancer to around 2,000. This could be some damage. We get the full pierce through, and we are actually in the lead. However, this is still a very questionable position. Why didn't they play any more cards during the last turn? If they had low-level monsters, they could have played them. And if they had 3 level 7s, they probably would have wanted to play them too, just to thin out the hand. Having a card like Seahorse Carrier makes a lot of sense. That set with the Seahorse Carrier, I absolutely do not trust. It is totally getting tributed for a boss monster this turn. Let's see what they go for. Looks like it is the Sevens Road Magician. So far, I am okay with that, as it means they're only able to beat one of my 2 bosses, though they do still have 3 cards left in hand. So if they have another low level and then a second 2 tribute monster, the game does just kind of end there. But we will see what happens. It is just Sevens Road Magician. Quite interesting. They even choose to beat Innocent Lancer instead of the monster that is capable of buffing itself. Unfortunately, we do not get the punish. We only have 3 level 1s, and with no way to discard monsters, we're only getting to 2100 ourselves. This is terrible. If we had just drawn one more big monster, any of them would have worked, and we would have been in such a good spot. I think this really was a game we had a real chance of winning. We see a Seahorse Carrier, and I'm pretty sure they have 2 big high-level monsters in their hand. But this one, it felt so close. I feel like we really could have won this duel if we had just drawn another high level. So, 2500. We are still alive, and Innocent Lancer is a solid card. Definitely not winning us the game here, but we do want to push for some damage if we can. Head into the battle phase, and we'll swing over this one. 300, solid. Pretty good damage. Kime Ruler is able to hit us for 500 plus 3, 800 damage. But if they didn't bring out another boss monster, it is possible they don't have any. So we will see how we handle this. Summon Skull. Oh, welcome to the stream. Oh, thank you, Tomato Source. Hope the rest of your stream went well. Did you manage to get, or hold on. What was the overall win ratio of the Explosion Drive? So we see 2 copies of Semegalon. Definitely not helping us against this game state. So we have 2 Beetles in the discard pile already. So I'm not really sure what our win condition is. I think it does involve finding the 3rd Beetle and doing something. But for now, we will pass. 6 to 7 is pretty good. 50-50 with such a low tier deck is commendable. As you can tell, I have not been doing all too well. The first challenge I did was no level 7 monsters, and that one we actually won on our very first game. Just because we were able to get relatively real looking cards on our board. Things like Curse of the Dark, Boosted, Dragon Knights of Darkness, and Dragonic Pressure really save the day. And help you beat over boards like this, which this Beetle deck has just about no real shot of doing. I could tribute these to Megalon again, but is there a point? I think I do need to draw the 3rd Lancer and the 3rd Beetle. So I guess I do. Let's just tribute out my monsters. Set and pass. I'm not convinced I have 20 level 1s. No, the Semegalon has done absolutely nothing. The reason it is in the deck is because I basically need some method to beat a Dragius. And it is able to boost itself, or the Beetle is able to boost it a little bit easier than the other monsters. The issue is, this is the only level 7 that is a normal or rare. So I don't have much of a choice. Interestingly, they are just passing turn. I guess they are just going to deck me out, which is a pretty fair plan. As I do not have a way to get rid of all of these low-level monsters in my hand. GGQ, I don't think there are enough insects to build an insect-only deck. We have run a beetle deck using forest before, but it's definitely far from only insects. We're probably going to switch to the challenge Rafflesia gave me, which was with no light and no dark monsters, because that's another thing we can run cards like the Earth Dragons and Dragonic Pressure our way into a win. Whereas I think this one, we probably still need some time before we're able to really cook a normal rare list capable of taking out games. So Dragzen, this is sort of the level 1 deck, except it is much, much worse. In the past, I have done a UR only challenge and an SR only challenge, and I did manage to win a game with both of those. I think they should actually be on, one of my YouTube videos should be about the viewer challenges I did the first time. So that was URs only, SRs only. There might have been a 0 gem challenge in there. I don't fully remember. But I have done those. I think if you combine SRs and URs, your deck actually becomes pretty competent. It was definitely challenging doing it with only the URs, for example, because there aren't very many low-level monsters. And that is game. So let's go with no light and no dark. And then, yeah, we can play psychics afterwards. Don't see any problems with that. Let's see. So first up, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna make it no lights and no darks. I wonder how much I actually need to change here. Twin-Edged Dragon, Curse of Dragon, Dragonite of Darkness, and then we can add in Earth monsters. So, Bunker Strikes, Slayers, and a Gravity Press could all work. If I'm able to find it. But I already have the Volcano Dragons. So let me filter down to the dragons. Wind, water. Perfect. Set this over to Dragonic Resonance. And basically we are playing Dragonic Resonance without Dragius or the Sports Dragons, which are two very important parts of the deck, but we should be able to win with this. Maybe not in the first attempt. We definitely did get a little bit lucky, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it'll take a little bit to find an opponent, but once we do, I think we should be good to go. So this deck is actually not all too different from a normal Dragonic Resonance strategy. Obviously, without the Sports Dragons, we don't get the 4,800 damage combo, but we do still have pretty big plays. Alright, go enjoy your meal, Tomato. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Interestingly, this one is taking a while to queue up. Hopefully we are able to find an opponent relatively soon. If any of you happen to be over in King of Games and want to queue up, feel free, and we will probably run into each other due to the way the King of Game ladder works. Michael, could you be a little bit more specific? If you mean today, I don't think I have actually seen all too many Dragius. If you mean over the course of me playing Duel Links, there have been many, many Dragius. Unfortunately, I don't think I've summoned any Dragius today, just because I've been playing, much worse decks. Nothing really capable of bringing out a level 7 light dragon. Just today. Maybe just one or two. Worst card in Rush is actually a pretty easy one. And it has to be the tortoise. And this applies not just to Duel Links, but probably just in general. The Giant Tortoise of Greed is essentially a completely useless card. It's very, very rare that you are going to find yourself in a position where drawing 2 is better than I completely forgot what we were talking about. Oh, right. So the Giant Tortoise of Greed only works if you already have like 3 or more cards in your hand, and if that is the case, you're probably not doing a great job. Alright, so I am up against Dragzen. Thank you for queuing on up. And I see we've got a Yami Ruler Beetle deck, maybe? Now I kind of wish I was still playing my own Beetle deck. I am Yami Ruler locked, so we are going to just set a couple of monsters and pass. I do have the Dark Magician. I have every Rush card. I'm pretty sure I have just about everything at 3, except for the cards that are structure deck locked. And we are getting hit by Dragius plus Yami Ruler. Pretty rough start. I wonder what our win condition here is. Without the Sports Dragons, it becomes a lot harder to get those double tribute turns. And with a board like this, I'm doing absolutely nothing. So we have to Dragonic Pressure here for sure. And unfortunately, we have to just discard 3 high-level monsters, bring out the Triad Drago, and then swing in with Fire Guardian. Nothing else makes any sense. That said, 2100 is decent damage. So let's see. So we have this challenge here for the no light monsters, no dark monsters. Then we'll do psychics, because that deck's bad enough where I feel like playing psychics is indeed a challenge in itself. Spellcaster only. Oh, you know what? Actually, I was gonna say the Seven's Axel Road deck is basically making that too easy, but they run a bunch of cards, like Currybot and Thunder the Thunder, so Spellcaster only could actually be a fun one too. But first, let's finish this one. I will go ahead and write it down though, so I don't forget for later. Dark, Psychic, Spellcaster only. Alright, so if we draw a high-level monster, we should be fine here. We do not, but we are going to set ourselves up for success in the future. I could use this Phoenix Dragon, actually. Okay, that seems like a good plan. Let's go ahead, Phoenix Dragon. Toss a monster. We're gonna grab the Bunker Strike, I think. Then we can set another monster. Bunker Strike. And we are digging. Looking for a Dragorite. We do actually manage to find it. So let's put these cards back on top of the deck. 1, 2, 3. Summon the Dragorite. And now we have beaten both Beetles in one turn. thanks to the digging power of the Bunker Strike. It is important to note we do not have access to any 4,000 damage combos due to the way the Dragonic Pressures work in this duel. However, we do actually still have access to some big pushes with Dragorites. Just summoning low-level monsters after Dragonic Pressure can be big. We do see Volcanic Rat and a Moki Moki, so they do have another big monster. We do have enough life points where I'm pretty sure we are able to survive this turn. We'll see what they go for. Probably taking out the Bunker Strike. That makes sense since it is an out to the to the 7-zone Magician. And now we unfortunately drew another Dragonic Pressure. So set that for sure. And then we could either blow up the board. Yeah, I think that has to be the play. So 1, 2, and 3. Special summon a Triad Drago out. And then we bring out the Lesser Dragon. We will boost it up a little bit. And then if we just survive this next turn, I think we can get there. I see the music has stopped once again. Sorry for that. My internet connection is hanging in there, but it is a little bit, just a little bit slower, less great than I would prefer. We see a Currybot play, meaning there is another big monster. Unfortunately, a second Dragius probably does end the game here. But if it is just a beetle, then we're fine. Oh, all 3 beetles are actually gone. And it is a Piercing Dragon Bunker Strike. Interesting. So that's gonna be getting in for 1100. But if Dragzen finds... Oh, wait, no. I keep thinking to myself that if Dragzen finds a beetle, it's over. But the beetles are in the graveyard. Summon Skull is an issue, though. Oh, that last monster is not anything to worry about. If that was a monster with even 900 attack points, the game would be over. But instead, we are going to be able to claim this one. Pop the Dragonic Pressure. Discard our weakest monsters. Bring back Triad Drago. And then we summon out our 2 final monsters for 2,500 and win the game. We will send them a nice and GG Dragzen. So next up, we are going to switch over to Spellcasters only. So I will start with my 7's Axel Road deck as a reference. And then we will remove all of the non-spellcaster monsters from it. So let's go ahead and see what we're working with. So Currybot has to go away, and so does Thunder the Thunder. Both of those are pretty important cards to the deck, but I think we are going to be fine. We can add in some extra wind monsters. Now we have fire, water, earth, air, dark, and we are missing light. but Lamoon probably still isn't worth it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 high-level monsters is certainly enough. What else do we run, if anything? Spell cards are allowed in the challenge, so we'll grab the 3rd Recovery Force. And we could do a Road Magic Explosion, but I don't think we need to. La Jinn, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp. I don't think it is. We have a few monsters like that as a legend card, but we do have other genies that focus around fusion. They are called Ethel and Methyl. What deck do I want to build most in the future? Probably the one I'm most immediately looking forward to is Beast Gear World. Other than that, I think Gaia would be fun. I do like the Music Princess deck, but I am worried about One Breath Piercing being in the same format as Dragius. We've already seen how strong Dragius is, and with only 6k life points, bring in the components of an OTK deck can be quite threatening. And at the same time, I don't think the Music Princesses deserve to have their Pierce card at limit 3. Though I guess as long as there are no other conflicts, it's fine for them. It's just a rough one to handle. So next up we have Pure Spellcasters. Oh, we do have the regular Harpy Lady. I don't think we're getting maximums for another couple of months. But I could see them adding some of the other Harpies at some point. Like the equipment card, for example, though they might also just hold off on equipment until we get to Go Rush. And then there's not really all that much left because Harpy Lady 1, a generic 1600 that also boosts other monsters, is probably still too early because we don't even have Rhynac yet. So Harpies probably couldn't come until about a full year from now, which is interesting to think about. And we are once again taking a while to find an opponent. Oh, but just as I say it, we queue in. Oh, and Momohiki is here again. They absolutely crushed us the last time we met up, but my deck is a little bit better this time. Maybe I'll be able to put up a fight. Solid draws, in my opinion. But the timer is going down. So hopefully the stream is going alright despite the lag inside of the game. Torna and Seven's Road Magician. I don't think I need the Torna at all here. So we are going to tribute it off right away. Just to get us some more cards. Momohiki, very unlikely to be playing defensively this turn. And if they do, we can always just flip summon our monster anyway. Presumably this set card is a Phantom Bind. I was going to say Dragonic Pressure, but we see plenty of non-dragon monsters coming right out. Interestingly, Um, this battle phase could go really well for them or really poorly, depending on what they choose to attack. We managed to keep 2 monsters on board, which is incredible, as now Mystic Dealer is going to start cycling through cards. Let's get rid of 1. And then Seven's Road Witch, we could summon it out and use its effect, but I actually want to thin my hand. So I'm not going to do that, and instead just summon it normally. It seems counterintuitive, but I guarantee you this was the right play. Next up, we have Seven's Wonder Splat. That is not the name of the card, but don't worry about it too much. Activate the skill here for sure, boosting up the Axel Wonder. Next up, Axel Wonder's ability, boosting itself even further, and then Seven's Road Magician. By keeping the Witch, for next turn, we have the ability to search out another Seven's Road Magician, and we are in an amazing spot. We see the face down card is not even a Phantom Bind, so it's probably Triple Threat Thunder, because we do see some Aqua monsters. It's hard to think what else it could be apart from Phantom Bind. Oh, welcome BT. Nice to see ya. Dragius for game. I don't know. I don't think a Dragius for is actually going to help them too much. My board is strong enough where I can even come back from a Dragius. Now, Dragius plus Summon Skull and a 1500, that is going to be a bit harder. Here it comes, a Dragius. We'll see what we can do. I believe in my deck. I think we are going to be fine. We've got this. Simply believe in the heart of the cards. I draw for turn. Cat coming down. Tribute summon Seven's Road Witch. Activate the skill. Here. We do not need to search. Activate Seven's Road Witch. Ditch the Recovery Force for Seven's Road Magician, playing it just a little bit defensively. Though that face down card could be a Pierce actually, which would be kind of devastating. Swing in. Swing in. And we are forced to pass turn here. Like I said, I could survive the one Dragius, but if they get another one, then it is probably game, unfortunately. Dragius plus Summon Skull was pretty strong. Not going to lie. They ditch a Seahorse Carrier, which is really interesting. We see a Seven's Road Magician, potentially able to just beat the Seven's Road Witch for game. Looks like it is only dealing 1700 though. Oh, but here comes Pierce. Wow. Though, even if I didn't, okay, if I played it the other way and I had the Recovery Force set, I sort of taken lethal damage by having the Seven's Road Magician beat over mine, and then they would swing in for an additional 1800. So they managed to get me this time, but I think we had not too many other plays that would have improved our odds. Just responding to some Discord messages while we wait for the next opponent. And it looks like we are ready to queue on in. Alright, we are up. Oh, I haven't seen this player. In a while. The triple dots. I remember them from the first month. But yeah, it has been a while. Looks like they might be on an aggro deck. We see a Kime Ruler, which is an interesting turn 1 board. I don't really fully agree with their game plan here. Alright, thank you for stopping by, Michael. I hope you have a great day. You know, BT, I actually sent someone the Eggman announcement, just yesterday night. Actually, it might have even been this morning. Except it was the one that's in alphabetical order. Which is fine. They haven't even seen the original, but they still enjoyed it. So, I'm gonna keep the Witch in hand. The extra 100 damage is not worth losing out on the potential search. I have Recovery Force for next turn as well. So I'll be able to make a pretty solid board. I do not expect their set monster to be staying there, but okay. If we draw a Torna, we are actually in a really good spot. Unfortunately, we do not get there. So Mystic Dealer it up, ditch this Strange Cat for something else. A 7's Road Witch, not too bad. But here there is really no reason for us to use the search. Oh, I messed up. I have to use 7's Excel Road first. So I miss out on 200 damage, but it's not a huge deal. Let's go ahead and head into the battle phase. We'll take out Gazelle, take out the Dark Sorcerer, and they don't have any high-level monsters in hand, so they shouldn't be able to punish us all too much, as they only draw 1 card on the next turn. Welcome, Benext. Hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, and or night. Looks like they did manage to find their high-level monster that they were searching for. With a Dragius, they deal some pretty significant damage and can clear our board. Otherwise, it's just like 300 damage and leaving themselves super vulnerable. If they do not Tribute Summon, this was absolutely the wrong play. Because now I just get to 7's Road Magician combo them into the next dimension. And we even draw Torna to really drive home this fact. Doriado, come on out. Then 7's Road Witch. Now we activate the skill. Boost on up. Add the 7's Road Magician straight to hand. Activate 7's Road Witch. We ditch the Dark Sorcerer to bring out 7's Road Magician. This boosts our monster even more. And then Axel Wonder Splat gives it a solid 3,000 attack points. Next, a Recovery Force. Put that Dark Magician back into the deck, alongside a Mystic Dealer for the draw support. Now we're going to draw an extra card and activate Torna. This gives us even more reach here as we flip over. It's presumably a 1500 monster, so it's not huge, but it is just a little bit of extra damage. Let's take out one monster, two monsters, and three. There was always the chance of it being a card like a Seahorse Carrier or something just weaker, Lamoon, a Kanan. Probably not game winning by any means, but we have a really strong board. We know that they are going to grab a Summoned Skull here. But unless it's specifically, again, Summoned Skull and Tracheus, we should hopefully be able to survive this turn and then get things going. We see a full Meteor Impact. I think Triple Dots might be running just a 1.5 box aggro deck, making use of the cards they've been able to find. We see Seven's Road Witch, but again, no Magicians. Well, we have a 30% chance to find it here, and of course we hit it because we are simply skilled players. Activate the Seven's Axel Road first, so we don't lose it. And then Seven's Road Witch is able to ditch a Dory Auto and bring out our wonderful boss monster. Seven's Road Magician, activating the effect, Elemental Road up to 3,900. Oh, only 36, but that is still enough. We swing into Summoned Skull, and that is game. Pure Spellcasters have managed to take a victory. Next up, we had someone suggesting Pure Psychics. I think that was also GGQ. So let's go ahead and swap over to Roman. Definitely the best character for that challenge. I feel like Climax Beat might already have this restriction on it, so we can just go ahead and queue in with this. Don't need to do anything too fancy. And then maybe if we finish this one, we will head over to trying that normal rare challenge again. Definitely not an easy one. I haven't seen, maybe we could have actually won that last game because our opponent bricked on defense mode monsters for several turns. But the Beetle deck would still need really good draws to be able to capitalize on it. They also had plenty of cards like Thunder the Thunder, which would have been beating up my Innocent Lancers. Alright, enjoy your night, Rafflesia. Hope you had a good time. Alright, so our next opponent, probably Chinese, I would assume. We have a great hand for going first, but unfortunately we have lost the die roll. So this is not looking great. They bring out the turn 1 Bunker Strike. This is so clearly not great for them. Their hand was totally fine to just set 3. But we do not have the punish. So they get away with this robbery. We really have no choice. We're playing psychics. We don't play cards. We just set our field and we pass it over. Phoenix Dragon to get that gravity press back. Oh, and they must have 2 Dragonic Pressures. Otherwise, I don't see why they would so willingly toss one away. And of course, we see the Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius here. Though I feel like setting 2 Dragonic Pressures is still totally fine. I really disagree with the plays they have been making, but there's nothing we can do about it. And this has been my experience with a ton of Dragonic Resonance players. And now, of course, we draw 4 Tribute Monsters. Just completely ridiculous. We can't even use the Berry Bassist, so we just have to pass. Okay. Maybe I should take out the Bassists if I can run more normal monsters. Because the Bassist is basically just another low level anyway. I will send them the like. Head into the deck editor. And I think one Berry Bassist is going down for another psychic low level. And we'll go ahead and try it again. And hopefully this one will go a little bit better. I think even if we just went first instead of second, it probably would have been fine. Because it would have taken them an extra turn to get all of that stuff going. Okay. Interesting hand here. I think we do play the Side Stage Bouncer in attack mode, as our trap card means it's effectively a 2500. And if we are able to force them to crash a Yami Ruler into our guys, we are in a good spot. And we see they just set 3 and pass, which means we can start going hard. Let's go ahead and summon the Wapkiss. And then Folder Blitz. And then we will Climax Finale, boosting up the Folder Blitz. And then Climax Beat is able to reset the Climax Finale from our graveyard, providing even more of an attack boost. Then we activate Pierce and get in for what I can only hope is huge damage. Enter the battle phase and swing. 0, we get the full 2900 damage. The Psychics might be able to take a win here. With our trap card, Severing Psychic Wall in tow, we will even have access to a method of defeating Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius, Yami Ruler the Dark Delayer, or Dion Keto the Cure Master. Thunder the Thunder coming out. Unfortunately, that is a pretty good play. My monsters are now both at 2,000, so a Dragius, crashes instead of just dying and instantly losing them the game. Dragius does come out. Oh, and that is interesting. Now it just depends on what method they attack with. Or they might even choose not to. Alright, let's see what they do. I will let that attack through. And then if they choose to attack again, it's over for them. My Severing Psychic Wall is going to destroy Dragius. I'm also sending a level 2 back into the deck. I take 1,300, but their field is a lone Thunder the Thunder. Oh, welcome, Stanford Matthews. Hope you're having a good day. Oh, and we even get the Roman pick. This is fantastic. Let's go ahead and pay some life points for that effect. And then what do we recur? I kind of want to just grab a level 2 so I can get a climax finale. But, no, I think this has to be the better play. Okay, so we grab the Prima Guitarna. And then Silent Assailant. Next up is Berry Bassist. Berry Bassist activates the effect. I pay even more life points for Keytar Kid. Then Folder Blitz comes out next. I'm just barely not at the point where I am able to burn them. But once I add in the effect of Prima Guitarna the Shining Superstar, they are going to take 1,500 plus all of the damage I'm actually dealing through battle. And I didn't do the math, but I'm just kind of assuming this has to be game. Yep, with only 2,600 life points remaining, they are done. And we did it. We have completed the Psychic Only challenge. So if anyone has any more suggestions, I am more than willing to take them. But until we get another suggestion, I am going to go for another round of the one uncompleted challenge. And that is running a game with only normal and rare cards. So we'll do this one for one round. And then, I wonder if there are enough Aqua monsters. Dragon only is unfortunately not a real challenge because pure dragons are the best deck in the game. So I can't really count it as a challenge run. That's just me playing normally. So we are up first, and we have a solid set 3 pass play. Hopefully it works out for us. We do have a 1 beetle down. But it's hard to even know what I'm looking for. Basically, we just hope that it'll work out. They set a single monster and pass, and yet we still aren't able to punish it because our deck did not provide us with any high-level monsters. What a tragedy. I think we just pass. Their hand is probably 3 2-tribute monsters. So there is an argument for defeating the low level, but I don't know, it just feels wrong. As if they get 2 low levels as their draws, we lose our win condition. let's see what they do next. Interestingly, we see a Prismatic Rice Terrace Secure. Oh, and next up is a Seahorse Server. Not able to use that effect as there are no light attribute Aqua type normal monsters. But we do see a Dragius coming out, and this is looking rough. Pierce 2. If we draw exactly Battle Sharks and Megalon, we are still in the game. Otherwise, probably not doing too much. And we do not see it. Oh, but we do get Starter Deal. So we get one more shot to draw a different card. Innocent Lancer, definitely not taking the cake here. Let's go ahead and just set some more monsters. And, do I want the Innocent Lancer? Probably not. I think we just need to try to protect these life points until we manage to get over Dragius. So, we need 9 level 1 monsters. That is a tough ask, because the opponent is either blowing us up if they destroy all of the monsters. But yeah, with 2 Dragius, it's basically over. So that's 2,500 direct, and we have no way of beating 2 Dragius. Oh, and the extra 1,500. So that's 5k, and the game is over. Hopefully the next box has some good low rarity cards that we can build a better deck with it. But we'll go ahead and go for Aqua Onlys as the next challenge. Because there are so many decent, like, Aqua cards, I feel like it's possible, but there is a big issue. And that is the total lack of tribute monsters. I'm pretty sure we only have Dion Keto, which is going to make it really awkward. The deck has plenty of tricks, but I don't know. This deck will probably be about as difficult as the one I've been doing. Are there even enough Pyro monsters? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yeah, I could do a Pyro themed deck, but these are the only Pyro monsters in the game, so I don't think that we'd be able to get to 30 cards. Unfortunately. Aquas should have enough to at least be a deck. Yeah, we have just barely enough. And then we go to the spells, and then we want Phantom Binds because we only have the one boss monster, so if we want any hope to win the game, we are going to be running them. Let's toss an Armor Knight in there. So we've got pure Aqua, and we are going to be using set Party for that guaranteed 1,200 X. Actually, we need this one to be Cure Master. because it gives us a 4th copy of the Dion Keto in the deck. And we are going to need high-level monsters if we want to succeed. The deck does have some stalling capabilities. But it will be a rough one. We will see how it goes. Alright, so we are up against another Mimi. Let's see what they pull. Oh, I've definitely played it Reborn. I want to say several times, even just today. And we actually have one of our Dion Ketos already in our hand. I don't think we can afford to play it out though, so we have to pass. We're turning off the Phantom Bind because we absolutely need to save it for when it can protect our boss. Remember, this deck has no other high-level monsters except for this singular piece. So it is absolutely protect the castle if we want to win. Off with their own suite of set cards. And a 7-zone magician coming out right away. Interestingly, there is only one element in the discard pile. A Pierce is devastating. But maybe not actually all too bad. We are going to take the 2700. And then, oh no, it looks like we lost connection. I actually felt okay about this game. Hopefully we are back. Sorry if the connection got dropped for a little bit. So we are taking a ton of damage, but now it is our turn to strike back. As long as we don't disconnect, we are going to be fine. We have two copies of Dion Keto and a Seahorse Server. So we can summon it out, flip a Kanon, activate the effect, we gain a little bit of life points. Bring out the Boogie Master. And then, here's the important part. We have access to a second Boogie Master. Oh, but with Cure Master. Okay, so I was going to say that we can't afford to bring this card out, but thanks to our skill, we are actually going to be still dodging Phantom Bind. So check this out. Activate the skill, recycle 1, and then 2, and now we have 3. 3 aquas in the graveyard. And that means even with a Phantom Bind, we will go down to 2,200, just enough to safely take out Seven's Road Magician. We get in for a huge swing of damage here, and we will turn on the auto for our own Phantom Bind. If they attempt to crash a Dragius, we just win the game on the spot. Though I guess they actually aren't going to have any dragons in the graveyard, huh? The alternative is maybe a 7-zone Magician will have enough spellcasters. But how are they going to clear 2 2500s? That is the question. I think we are in a really good spot. They set a monster, and they are bringing out Prima Gotarna. That is unfortunately the out to our board. By boosting all of their monsters by 900 points, they probably are going to be able to beat. But wait, it looks like they might not have it. That's only 1 monster capable of beating our boss. And they are down to just 200 life points because they paid 500 for Currybot and they paid 1,000 for Prima Gotarna. And that should be it. As long as we don't randomly disconnect here, we should have the pure aquas done. With only 200 life points, the Dion Keto that we have survived swings into La Moon, and that's it. By the way, this time turning off the music was intentional because we were having some streaming lag. Since we managed to get through the game and it seems to have recovered, we are going to go ahead and turn it back on. So give me just 1 moment. Or actually, I will do that after we hit the Q button for the next game. Plus Minus has suggested a 7-zone Magician deck with as few attributes as possible. So we will take a look at what a yeah, I think they didn't actually disconnect. I think they just closed out the game. Because some people just do that as a way to surrender. So, what does a pure dark deck look like? Probably add you. These, now does Magician Shuffle force spellcasters? I feel like it might. Oh no, all it does is prevent Dragius. Okay. So no effect monsters with 2500 or more attack. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So here we have Pure Dark. This plan is simple. We are running the full Seven's Road Magician package to bring out our big boss monster, who is actually only able to get up to 2,400. So that plan sucks. But we are committed to it because that is the challenge. So then our secondary plan is that we have the 3 Dark Magician Girl along with Dark Magician. And this gives us an actual way to get to 2500. To facilitate all of these high-level monsters, we are running Curry Bots and Sports Dragons. And then we just run some more monsters to fill up the slots. I think this is going to be another Phantom Bind deck because we don't have a way to naturally get over 2500. So we take out the Skull Servants, save this, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tribute monsters. Probably kind of high, but there are a lot of 1 tributes in there. So let's put the music back on and head on over to Ranked. And let's just queue it up and see how long it takes to win with a 1 attribute deck. I think this is actually going to be a pretty fun challenge. Oh, we see another Mimi player. Are we up against... Oh, it's once again Proud Yemeni. Oh, this is our 3rd time seeing them in the last hour or 2. Our opening hand, not optimal, but it actually is kind of fine. We can set a couple of cards, and we are good to go. We see Dark Magician Girl in the hand, meaning next turn, we are going to be able to bring it out as a 2500 1 tribute monster, as long as we find any appropriate low-level monster to tribute it off. The opponent tribute sets, guessing that's probably something along the lines of a Gravity Press Dragon. But we'll see what else they go for. Looks like Dragius is coming out to inflict the big 2500 damage. Luckily for us, they don't have anything to go alongside it, so we are not out of the game just yet. Let's draw some cards and see what we get. A second Dark Magician Girl is actually really interesting because it means we are able to establish a real board. Dark Magician Girl searches Dark Magician, and then we just send it to the graveyard immediately. Next up, Currybot and Magical Ghost come onto the field, and we tribute them for 2 copies of the Dark Magician Girl. And now we take out the Dragius and swing for our own 2500, evening the board, but we have 2 Phantom Binds, meaning an opposing Dragius is actually not able to clear the 7-zone, is not able to clear the Dark Magician on its own. Now we do see that they have cards like Thunder the Thunder, so it's not guaranteed to work, but I think we could have a chance of winning. We have Solid Protection. 7-Zone Magician, unfortunately, sounds like a card that's able to get over our board. 3300 is more than enough. But we do survive, and that's an important step. Let's see what we draw next, as a good hand could still save us, and this is basically exactly what we wanted. Currybot gets us the 2 tributes we need for 7-Zone Magician. And then Dark Magician Girl is going to come out as a 2500. And we're going to get a Mega Push going. Summon the Dark Sorcerer. Tribute for the Dark Magician Girl. And then that's, so this is 1500. 3,300 if we go for it. Alternatively, we just set. Because 500 3,000, 3,300 is not lethal. And then we lose to a Dragius, swinging into Dark Sorcerer. And we do not want that. So we are forced to just kind of sit here and await an extra turn. Still, we are in a solid spot. It's not perfect, but it is potentially good enough to get us there. They do have sports dragons set up for potential big plays, though. Yeah, so with the 2 Phantom Binds, there are plenty of dragons in here, so I'm actually not super worried about the 3rd Dragius. The main issues are, I think, Prima Gotarnas and another 7-Zone Magician. I would suspect if we lose, though, it's probably going to be from a Prima Gotarna. The rest of the cards just seem like they'd be run at a low enough quantity where we're unlikely to see them, especially with 20 cards still left in their deck. They bring out 3 and regain life, but they wouldn't do this if they didn't have a plan. They are certainly going to have something. It is Prima Gotarna as predicted, which is really rough. And the Summon Skull on top of it. Yikes. I guess I wasn't wrong. Like I said, this is the one thing that kills me. They just happen to draw the perfect hand. Now, I actually could have probably... I'm thinking if I would have won, if I did a swing with the Dark Sorcerer, they would have been down to 200 life points, so they wouldn't have been able to activate Prima Gotarna's effect. But that just felt wrong because it would have lost to a Dragius. And then that's 1,000, and then the Prima Gotarna is just 100 though. I don't know. Maybe I should have just attacked. 2 Dragius were already in the discard pile, so shutting off the Prima Gotarna may have been a higher priority. Ultimately, I think I played it too defensively rather than limiting my opponent's options. I probably could have won that. Okay, an interesting turn 1 hand. 2 Currybots are nice to see, but I'm not sure if that really helps me. We're really just looking for some Dark Magician girls. 7-Sword Witch, not actually all that useful because I already have a Currybot set up. And the 7-Sword Magician is only ever going to be at 2,400. So we need to draw more to be able to deal with a card like this at 2,500. So show me any Dark Magician. Alright, maybe on a future turn. We will set and pass. We still have the Currybot ready to go. And we have a Silent Assailant in hand to help us with building a better board. The reason I set both Sports Dragons is because using them actually stops us from attacking with Dark Magician Girl. We see a Dragius. This game is probably over. Unless we draw exactly, yeah. I'm just going to give this one to them. I will pass a turn rather than trying to play more cards. At this point, it is over. Oh, we don't have any Phantom Binds to protect us. So that is that. Yeah, if you give somebody a turn to set up for free, they are definitely going to be building some pretty crazy things. Their turn 1 play was just a single Dion Keto, which doesn't feel that impressive. But since my 7/7 Magician is physically incapable of getting over 2,500, it became too strong for me. Alright, so again, we have a pretty good turn 1. 3 sets. And we know we are playing against a Cure Master Dion Keto. As we just fought them before. We had the chance to beat them last time. So this time, let's make sure we really take advantage of this weak turn 1. We reveal Dark Magician Girl. We add Dark Magician to hand, and we send it to the graveyard. Now we summon Seven's Road Magician. And this is where it all starts going right. Set a magical ghost and summon out 2 copies of Dark Magician Girl. We are swinging in for 5,000 damage this turn. And we might be back.